Hey gamers, what's up and welcome to Gamer Life. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at a little game called Gravwell. Gravwell is an abstract racing game that plays between 1 to 4 players and takes about 45 minutes to play. Now what makes Gravwell unique is how you're moving around the game board. Your movement is pretty much based on what's around you. It takes about 45 minutes to play. So let's take a look and I'll tell you what I think. So here is Gravwell. Now in Gravwell, players are represented by ships that are stuck inside a singularity. They would be using these fuel cards here to try to get out of the singularity into the warp gate. The first player to get to the warp gate wins. So players will choose a color ship, place it inside the singularity. They will then get one of these 4 emergency stop cards based on the color. Also players need to keep in mind these 2 derelict ships here because these are important too. The game lasts 6 rounds. After the 6th round, if a player has not gotten out of the warp gate, the player who is furthest along becomes the winner. Now I've played this game several times. I have never seen it go past 4 rounds. So at the start of every round, you will create stacks of 1 face up and 1 face down fuel cards. These fuel cards are cards that players will use to move around the game board. In the first round, you will start drafting them out based on the youngest player. After that, they'll be taken based on who's furthest back in the line. Now all these fuel cards have names. I'm not going to try to pronounce these names, but the reason why these names are important is because all players are going to be simultaneously playing 1 card face down, and then at the same time all cards will then be revealed, and starting in alphabetical order, they are then resolved. So in this example right here, J would resolve first. So whoever played this would do their movement first, then go in alphabetical order. So let me talk about these cards. Now as I said earlier, movement is always based on what is closest to you, but you do not count what is inside the singularity. So in this, as it stands right now, since the only closest ship is this derelict ship here, any player that was to play a standard field card, which are these yellow cards, would move that many spaces towards the closest object. The next type of fuel card is the repulsor one. This one here means players move away from the closest object. And then the green cards here are the tractor cards, tractor beam cards. This pulls everything towards that player, that number of spaces. So let me create an example real quick and show you how movement would work if a player was to play the standard 9 movement. Let's take red for example. In this example, the closest object is this derelict ship here, so red would move 9 spaces forward, leaving it there. And let's say yellow also plays a 7 on their turn. Yellow would move 7 spaces towards there. Now, in a following turn, if yellow was to play this 8 movement card, because the closest ship is red, it would move forward 8 spaces. But if it was to play it in this specific example right here, since the closest ship is now red, it would move back that many spaces. So it's important to note what is around you in Gravwell, because you will sometimes be moving back. That's why players have the emergency stop cards, because once per turn they could turn it face down or face up, however you want to do it. We like to play it with face up, and then you turn it face down to show that you've used it. Pretty much what these do is they cancel the current card you've played that turn. And this pretty much happens for about 6 turns. Players will be playing their cards at the same time, resolving them in alphabetical order, and going around the game board and see who eventually gets to the warp gate first. First person to do that wins. So that was Gravwell. Now I like Gravwell, mainly because I like a good science fiction game and I like a good racing game. Even though I don't really think this is a true racing game as say Formula D or Thunder Rally, because the abstract feel of the game does take away some of the racing feel of it. Now it does have some great tense moments in when all players are bunched up together and you're all trying to figure out, well, what are they going to play, what letter are they going to play, if they're going to play low or they're going to play high. So it has a good sense of tension because everyone reveals the card at the same time, and you see what other players have played, and then sometimes you're kind of screwed because guess what? You're going back instead of going forward. So it really messes up your plan. And then sometimes one player will get really far ahead, but then they have to realize there's nothing in front of them. Because once they pass the second derelict ship, there's nothing there. So every card they play will then pull them back. So the game has a great catch-up mechanic in that sense, in which the person who is all the way in the front now cannot go any further. They now need the help of the other players, because they now have to use that player to slingshot themselves forward again, unless they got the repulsor movements, which pushes them away. So the game, so that's one of the really cool parts about the game, in which there rarely is there a runaway leader in this game, because other players need each other to help move forward, because they're constantly leapfrogging with each other. It still doesn't have that great sense of speed in which I do love from Formula D, or the true racing sense you get from Thunder Rally. So that is one knock against it. Another complaint I have seen one of my friends buy a copy of this game and have the stands broken, because if you look on the ships here, the flight stand is glued directly to it, and I've seen him open 2 boxes and have one broken stand in one box, and then in the second box he's had 2 broken flight stands. So that is a problem, but it's not the game's fault, it's the manufacturer's fault, so you gotta be careful with that. Also, I'm going to nitpick here a little bit. I do find the price tag a little steep for what it is. This game retails, I think MSRP is $40, and all you get is 6 plastic ships and a deck of 30 cards. For $40, that's a little steep. I understand if you play this game a lot, it can be worth it. You know, if you play this game 10 times, you're looking at $4 a play. So, you know, if you get the play out of it, I guess it's okay. But I still think that the price tag is kind of steep, especially if you're going to find broken pieces inside your game. That's not acceptable. Also, some people may find the abstract feel of the game not to their liking, because it is very abstract and doesn't have that full sense of racing that you get with Formula D, which is a simple roll and move. While this, you have to play the card and you have to figure out, okay, well, who's closest to me? Am I moving backwards? Am I moving forwards? So it's very abstract in that sense, and it will turn off some players. But I enjoy it. I recommend this game for anyone who's looking for a light family weight game, because this hits that 40-minute mark perfectly every time. And it's very easy to teach, and does introduce some mechanics that I've not yet seen in some other board games. So that wraps up my review of Gravwell. Thanks for watching, and remember, I believe there's a game for everyone. Thank you.